Hail to the king, baby.
I have just one question for you. Are you ready?
Something I'd like you to know about me is I love 3D platformers. In fact, some of my favorite games as a kid were 3D platformer collectathons like Banjo Kazooie, Spyro the Dragon, or Yooka-Laylee. I always have a special place in my heart for games like these. That's why today's review is special. And right off the bat, I want you to know that I received this game over a month in advance via a Steam review key provided me by Numskull Games, the publisher for Clive N Wrench. I do plan on paying for the game myself, and this is actually my first ever early review copy I've received, which is a big step for the channel. And a cool twist to this video is that I 100% of the game. And I'm not going to be spoiling any story elements, but I may spoil a couple of early game bosses and show off a small slice of the 11 main worlds. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around, especially if you love 3D platformers. Clive N Wrench is a 3D platformer starring Clive, a rabbit, and Wrench, the literal monkey on his back. Your adventure takes you hurling through time and space in a 1950s refrigerator on a heroic quest to thwart the tyrannical Dr Daucus and stop his evil plans. From the start, you have your entire arsenal of moves unlocked, alongside a collectible tracker in your backpack. Due to having all of this at the start of the game, the developer has the freedom to make really fun challenges and create really well-designed levels with the full movement in mind and all the crazy ways you can use it. I would highly recommend this game for any newcomers to the genre because of how well crafted the worlds are, because they're not too big and they're not too small, they're just right. They all have the perfect amount of collectibles and things to do or find that it never gets old. It's very, very well paced. It is constantly changing things up from level to level, including the mini boss fights, of which all have unique gimmicks and are very different from each other. With the tracker, finding everything is made quite easy if you're having a tough time. But don't worry, because there's plenty of hidden secrets and literal Easter eggs in every level to find that you don't get assistance with. That being said, I did experience a few bugs during my time with the game, which was around 20 plus hours. I got stuck on level geometry a few times early in the game and had to reload, or a few times where I wasn't awarded an ancient stone or a collectible not spawning, but none of these were game breaking, they just temporarily broke the pacing. Now I don't believe a game should ever be defined by any of its slight flaws, only by their overall quality, and that's what I'm talking about today. Each of the 11 levels and a special bonus level have a theme and tons, and I mean tons of puns. It's quite a punny game, if I do say so myself. All the worlds are super cool and enjoyable to play in. I say it's a pretty easy game like most 3D platformers, with its occasional challenge, especially for those trying to do everything. I've always loved collecting everything in this kind of game. I don't know why, it's just oddly satisfying. And this game keeps you hooked with how well paced its pickups are. All the characters speak in a weird gibberish, similar to Banjo Kazooie or Yooka-Laylee, which is quite nostalgic for me, and I've always enjoyed their weird little noises that they make. It takes quite a bit of inspiration from just about every popular and obscure 3D platformer out there, and is truly a love letter to the genre. I'd compare it to how Prey 2017 is a love letter to M-Sims. Similarly to Prey, it takes all the popular elements of the genre and their design philosophies and improves them, or in my opinion, perfects them. And yeah, I know that's a big claim, but this game has very little backtracking due to its design. The developer said in an interview that he tried to design the game in a way where you could collect everything in one go without much backtracking, and I think he achieved that very well. And in the moments where you do backtrack, it's not a slog because of the aforementioned world size. He actually fixed the problem with many 3D platformer sequels, like Spyro 2 or Banjo Kazooie, where they thought bigger was better, but all it did was bloat the experience and require way too much backtracking. Like I said before, he perfected the size of the levels to make sure you're not bored or lost. It's easily one of the best 3D platformers I've ever played, and the developer sweetens the deal with tons of game references and even throws in Trouser from Yooka-Laylee, which was a nice little surprise. Plus the Egyptian level reminded me so much of Gobi Desert in Banjo, and the prehistoric Christmas level reminded me of Freeze Easy Peak. The developer Rob Wass has said his favorite 3D platformer is Muppet Monster Adventure, a pretty obscure PS1 3D platformer that I've heard a few people mention, and it reminded me of one of my favorite obscure 3D platformers from the PS1 era, Monsters Inc. Scream Team, both of which you should check out, because why not? I think Clive N Wrench will be many people's favorite 3D platformer, but hopefully it becomes one of the big names in the genre because it deserves it. Clive N Wrench brought back memories of all the different 3D platformers I played as a kid, and similar to many of my favorite games as of late, it was a really fun time. And honestly, I think that when my kid gets a little bit older, I think I'm going to introduce him to 3D platformers with this game because it's such a great jumping in point. Rob has been developing this game for around 12 years, because when he started, nobody was making his favorite kind of game, and man do I feel that. Now he's releasing his game during the big 3D platformer renaissance that's been going on for a few years. I wish him the best of luck, and I hope you all go out and buy this fantastic game. One last question for Rob though, why are those minions in Clive N Wrench so similar to those in Yooka-Laylee? These games went in development at entirely different times, so maybe it's just one of those weird coincidences like the Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope that you found a new game to check out. If you like 3D platformers, please let me know what your favorite one is, and I'll see you in the next one.